I'm here for you to pick yourself up and realize that we're only here to give you enough information to help you feel safe enough to start to feel who you really are and express and know that you're enough to express it. And when you are, you're literally living in your lymphatic flow of life. Hello, and welcome to the Energy Flow podcast. I'm Kelly Kennedy, and I am here to discuss all things energy, fascia, lymphatics, oxygen, and water. Over my 26 years of being on this journey and 19 years in clinical practice, dealing with chronically ill, chronically pained, to the optimizing of health and to everything in between, we have learned throughout these years how to efficiently and effectively teach people how the body works, get them engaged in that system, help them understand how the universe works and how those two connect. And that's what this Energy Flow podcast is about. Whether you are new to us or you've been a longtime listener of over 4 years now, we are so happy and honored to share our heart's honest truth about what we know, what has worked for us, what's worked in the clinical practice, and what might be the key to your next step in your journey. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing this with all that it will resonate with. We look forward to each and every moment of our genuine connection. Thank you for listening. Hi, I'm Kelly Kennedy. I'm known as the Lymph Queen, and welcome to the podcast, the Energy Flow podcast, where we dive deep into all things energy, fascia, lymph, oxygen, and water. And I want to really talk about the lymph system because 5 years ago, COVID hit. And my dear friend, Desiree and I were like, what are we going to do for all the people with COVID? What are we going to do for all the people that don't understand lymphatics? And we said, okay, let's teach them the top 7 to 10 lymph nodes that they can release of the 600 to 1,000 lymph nodes that they have, because her and I both know that the only way to actually change your terrain, the only way to actually change the information your cells are being signaled is to truly drain your lymphatic system. And what I learned from Desiree many 15, 20 years ago now was actually how to drain that lymphatic system. And then I got really excellent at it clinically. And I've spent the last 19 years focused on the energy of the body and how to release it and how to make sure that it stays released and that we are choosing to heal by allowing us to shift our nervous systems into the parasympathetic and allowing the fascia to pick up those signals, allowing the lymph to magnify those signals, because we have 3 times more lymph than we do blood. So if what I just said is like, holy cow, I know everything you just said, it makes total sense, then why are you not on my flow form right now and learning even deeper about how you can apply that science and get even more optimization of the function of this physical form of the body of which your energy, the divine part of you, lives in? Then let's spend some time together with our beautiful community on the Flow membership and allow you and us to work together to help you experience an even better version of heaven on earth. If what I just said is like, wow, Kelly, that was a lot, I don't really understand it, can you pick it apart? I would love to do that for you. I'm going to start with the lymphatic system. So the lymph system is this beautiful gateway to the bridge, if you will, between the non-physical part of us and the physical part of us. And it's really the water part of our body. And we know we have about 70% water. And where is that? It's our lymphatic system. So going back to when we taught the top 10 to 7, what we were excited about at the time was that folks were finally listening. Well, I'm going to say I'm not going to put any more words in her mouth. I'll just say for me, what I saw was COVID hit and people still didn't understand the lymphatic system because they were putting on masks and they thought they had to limit their space from other people or perhaps even get a vaccine. And that had anything to do with the wellness, the vitality, the ability of the body to heal from any vector, germ, bioweapon, hazard that's outside of us that gets inside of us and then could create disease. But we know that it only creates disease when the body is already juggling a lot of balls. And some of those balls we know, and some of those balls we don't know because we can't see all those balls. Most of them are non-physical. Some of them are physical. That's the food we eat. Is it proper for us or not? The water we drink and expose ourselves to, is it clear, pure, high quality, structured, energy giving water, or is it depleted and full of toxicants and tap water full of all sorts of pharmaceuticals and other things that is just kind of not alive anymore? I mean, it's not dead, but it's not life-giving. It's actually turning on our system and causing us to work harder rather than giving us stuff. And chemicals and metals, have we cleaned that up? Are we no more leaking metals out of our mouth? Do we have chemicals out of our life, from, natural flavors to perfumes, let alone to plastic clothes and all the ways that chemicals that we're exposed to in our lives? So that's like the physical part of life, right? The food we eat, the water we drink and bathe in, the metals and the chemicals that we're exposed to, and then those immune challenges. And now we have a new category of human-made immune challenges. So that said, though, the body is breaking down even when we address all that. Some people listening to this podcast right now have handled the food. They've cleaned up their environment. They've taken all those amalgams out. They've had the cavitations done. They're doing the red light therapy. But they're still not feeling better. And they're doing the top 7 things that Desiree and I taught. And now there's a couple other people out there going, oh, here's how you pump your lymph. All you have to do is these 8 things, these 7 points of your body. Oh, my loves, I wish it was that easy to pump your lymph and just open up your 7 nodes and call it a day. That is the beginning of this process. That is the gate to open the door. That is the key to open the door, rather, to allow you to get into the depths of what the lymph is really about. Water is one of the most not lacking of understanding things that we have on the planet. We don't even know what's in our oceans, yet 70% of the earth is covered in oceanic water, and we haven't even discovered so much that's in it. It's so deep and vast and broad, and we find new things in it. It's so exciting, and it's also scary because it's deep and there's things in there we don't know, and it's exciting. There's things in there we don't know, and it's scary. There's things in there we don't know. And that is like our ocean water of our body, because we got to the point where we wanted to make sure we didn't drown with this body, so to speak. So we got through life and we learned how to walk and talk. We come in as babies and we don't know how to use this physical body. If you've ever looked at a baby, I love looking at babies. They're just so cute. They're just like, whoa, they're all wiggly. They're like, I don't know how to use my arms yet. Woo, their whole body's like, woo, there's a lot going on, because they're feeling their feels and their body's expressing that. That's why they're so wiggly. And they're trying to figure out how to get the brain to say, hey, stand up, use your foot, move it forward. They're learning to become conscious and use their brain to propel them forward and to mobilize their thoughts through their mouth and to speak their truth of their heart through their mouth. But up until recently, I would say maybe 10, 20 years, there was not a lot of focus on the heart and way more focus on the brain. And I've been speaking of it for 20 years in clinical practice. And the way to get to that feeling part of our body is through the lymphatic system. And yes, the top 10 to pumping of those nodes is keenly important. Yes, we can use our fingers, and yes, we can use tools like Flow Vibes 1 and 2, and we can use RRTs or vibration platforms or rebounders, as long as we're opening our nodes and then create vibration. As long as we've treated the scars and the dental foci that are opening up the blockades to healing, to allow the nervous system to heal, that then allows it to release what's been trapped in the system, which is in the lymphatic system. So learning how to open up those 7 to 10 top lymph nodes is one part. Then learning how to feel and express the stuff that comes up and keep going deeper and deeper, so that I'm not just maintaining, but I'm actually optimizing and going deeper into the system and pulling out the majority of what's in there, which is emotional components. 90% of all life is emotional. 90%, 70% of the body is lymph. 70 to 90% of the earth is water. Are you starting to see the correlations? If the earth is 70% water and it's deep and full of things we don't know about, might our bodies that are 70% water be deep and full of things we don't know about? And the only way to go in is to start to investigate them. And to be scared is natural. To override our nature of scaredness of going into unknown spots we haven't been before is the human aspect of us, the conscious part of us that gets to choose freedom. I teach all the time in my webinars that lymph is a choice, that liberating your lymph is a choice. And I teach all the time and apply the science that I am not here to heal you. I had a client come in last week. I just wanted to know when I called this morning if you were going to heal me. And I said, oh, well, let's be clear. I'm not. I don't heal you. You heal you. I teach you how to heal you. The reason you were called to this podcast, the reason you were called to my work, to the True Wellness Center, was because you followed your heart. And you know that's to be true. And then you had to figure out why your heart called you here. But that was your first decision of alignment with yourself, to honor yourself and go, I don't know why I'm making this decision. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I need to move forward because I just know that this is the person that's going to help me. This is the key, my lymph and emotions. How do I do that? Is it EFT? Is it EMDR? Is it all those things and more? Yes. Are those good tools? Yes. Are they the end of the bucket? No. Is the top 7 to 10 lymph nodes important? Yes. Is it the end of it? No. Is learning how to address our scars at the top level the first step? Yes. Is it treating our scars once and calling it done? No. Is it just the top layer of the scar that needs to be addressed? No. Is it just what I do at home? Is it important for me to go to a center and have it injected? Yes. And how do I know what to do at home? Well, I go and learn. How do I learn? Well, Kelly wrote a book. I have a podcast. You're listening to it. There's lots of information here. There's the Flow Forum. There's a membership. I can learn it there. I can go to the center. I can listen to her YouTube. And I can also practice it on myself and learn more about it through experience. I can learn about it educationally, philosophically, and I can also apply that philosophy to my body. And I can start to learn what it's like to move water that hasn't moved, known as my lymph system, and what shows up and how I feel about the stagnant water that I've allowed to stay stagnant for weeks, months, decades, perhaps, and allowed sticks and stones that are going to break my bones if I don't get to them. And allow that debris, essentially, that's in the water, which is old pathogens, old toxicants, old emotional components. The amount of times that I bit my tongue, not literally bit my tongue, but figuratively bit my tongue and swallowed figuratively something that was hard to swallow. Or the time that I didn't say that to that person because I didn't feel like it was my place. Or the timing didn't feel right, so I didn't say something. And then I saw something that occurred in their life or in our situation that I could have prevented had I just been able to feel safe enough to use my voice. The lymphatic system has been clogged by so many things that we've put into it, and it's so much more than our drainage. It is so much more than just pumping a mechanical pump to go get it out. It is that, and it is the space that we create in our life, removing the clutter and allowing the ocean, the river to flow and create beautiful crystalline water that when we look at it, we see clearly. We have no brain fog because there's clarity in the water. We have no question about how to make a decision to move forward because we're connected to how we feel, and we feel every spidey sense in our body magnified through the water in our body, moving that vibration through us and feeling every part of our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic body going yes or no. And it's so clear because there's no muck in the way. There's no, oh, but he'll feel bad if I say no. Oh, she won't feel supported if I say no. Oh, they won't feel loved if I don't give it to them in the way that makes them feel comfortable, but me really uncomfortable. And the lymph and self care, as I'm redefining it for all of us, is to allow us to feel present right now to how we feel and to move it through the sensations of the entire body of water of which we are, held together by the fabric known as the fascia, which is the spidey sense part of us that's magnifying that through the lymphatics. And as we feel that in our body of ocean of water, can we spew out like the rivers, like the ocean does, rather, like a wave and go, bah, and leave it on the beach. Ha! And let the universe take what out we didn't want in our system anymore through a vibration, through a sound that we're able to make through our vocal cords, which is connected to the heart and the head. What's in the middle is the voice, is the throat, is that center, second energy center. Hey, Kelly, I thought that was the fifth. No, it's not. Rasmus Scout-Bergenhausen, the gentleman who I am so honored to share his wisdom and his science, he worked with Emoto, Master Emoto, the water crystal guy, for 17 years, ran his lab. And Rasmus has taught me more about frequency, vibration, and energy than any book I've ever written through experience of a technology known as Sound of Soul. And that technology is a live heart rate variability that allows me to connect to my frequency, feel it, sense it in every part of my body, and be more of that feeling being. And he looks at water crystals in microscopes, and that is the pure science that we come from. Does it make beautiful water crystals? And does energy flow in regeneration, in regulation, in the heart rate variability assessment? Does the body go into regeneration? And parasympathetic is the dominant tone and not the sympathetic tone. When the sympathetic tone is dominant, the water has like rapids in it and it's tense and there's a lot of wind and there's a lot of big, big waves and there's a lot of crashing and there's a lot of intense chaos. And when the body's in parasympathetic tone, we have still, clear waters. It has spit out from the previous storm all the things that don't serve it. So it can just be the crystalline, beautiful water that we expect when we go to places like the Caribbean. Either we live there or maybe we vacation there, but we get to see crystal blue water that we can see right through it. And there's no question about where we go and where our path is, where the space is, where the opening is. And when our lymph is flowing, that's how we feel in our life. How do we know our lymph is flowing? We sleep well, we go to bed when we're tired, we sleep well, we fall asleep fast, we get up with energy without our alarm. And if we get up with our alarm, we gently allow ourselves to remind ourselves how grateful we are. We woke up, and we start to move our bodies and move the stagnant water that's been laying still for 4 to 8 hours, 10 hours of sleep. We start to move the fascia and the lymph, and we create an electrical charge, and we feel the beauty and the joy of breath in this physical body. Because the difference of me waking up today and not is purely one thing: breath. And that breath is the energy that flows through this physical body that's monitored through heart rate variability, live blood analysis, pulsometers, muscle response testing, EKGs, magnetic resonance, CT scans. All those are looking at the energy in the body and trying to find ways to take quantitative value of what it is stating right now in this very moment, because right now is all we have. And when we look at the subtle energy body testing, like heart rate variability, live blood, muscle response testing, bioresonance testing, we're looking at, is the body in harmony with its environment internally and externally? And is the ocean calm and flowing and finding the natural ebbs and flows of life? And, oh, this is when I should slow down. And, oh, this is when I should burn energy. Because trust me, I get it, folks. I was of the philosophy prior that we should be blooming, 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 blooming. Did you hear the word should? I've changed that because there are no shoulds, and blooming is one of the seasons. We bloom after the rain. We bloom after the sun's come out, after the seed germinated, after the seed spent time in silence, developing its strength of its stalk to poke through the ground and grow and allow the sun to give its nature and allow the wind to give its nature, to give it the information it needs to continue to expand and grow. And the more we allow ourselves to expose ourselves to the nature of life, we allow ourselves to expand. And that is done in the nature of who we are, which is inside of us and all around of us. And it's the flow of that nature and where the flow is and where the flow isn't, and feeling both those things and finding what is our path of least resistance. That is the water of the body. My path of my least resistance is always following my heart, because my heart has 40,000 more sensory neurites in it than my brain. And that heart is felt viscerally through the fascia in the lymphatic system as the flow of this energy flowing or not. And it can be tested through all those ways I just mentioned. But allowing my body to feel the sticks and the stones that are in that river, that ocean, and spewing them out like the wave does on the beach, to allow it to get to that next season of when the tide is settled and the wave is settled and the wind is settled down and the sun is blasting down on that water, and the water and the sun together are shining. And with a yellow sun and the blue ocean, what color do you get, folks? Green. And green is the first of all the energy centers in the heart. And Rasmus Gauss-Bergenhausen is the gentleman that got to teach me that and show me the science behind the universe and how this all works and why the math works out. Is when one source, oneness, singularity, wholeness, represented as one, is everything. Wholeness is everything. And one is the frequency of the heart, known as the color green. And as you go through life, knowing that everything is not a line, it's a vacillation, it's a Fibonacci, it's a spiral, then we know that one spirals out till two, which is the second energy center known as the throat, which spirals out to third, which is in our solar plexus, prior known in the abdomen, which spirals out to fifth, up in sixth, and it's a spiral. And it's the energy that runs this physical body, known as oxygen, monitored through these frequencies, monitors, such as heart rate variability, live blood, muscle response testing, as we've talked about, as I've mentioned. It is the monitoring of that energy in the water of the body that allows us to see the expression that we call life. If we dehydrate, we also die. Hydration is found in the lymphatic system. The biggest reason that people die of old age, which used to happen anymore, it doesn't seem to happen very often, but when they do, it's essentially of dehydration. So as we allow ourselves to stay hydrated, as we allow ourselves to exhale out all the toxicants, pathogens, the emotional components, all the things that cause us to feel stagnant, as we release those, we become more flowing, and we allow ourselves to feel more, because we're not afraid to feel what's in the dark ocean, because it's not dark anymore, because we brought our light to it. And our light is our sun, is our number one wholeness, because we're all solar powered from the sun. We can't live on Earth without sun. We can't live on Earth without earth. Earth is full of water. Add water and earth and sun together and you get humanity. Add minerals and water and light and you get material. We are made of sun. We are made of light. We are made of sound. And it is in a physical form known as physical body vibration. But it moves and it changes and it's plasmatic. Our brains are neuroplasmatic, meaning we can change our mind. When I was 7, I was afraid of the dark. At 25, I became not afraid of the dark, as an example, because we can change our minds and override that mammal and go, hey, there's no need for you to be afraid of the dark. There are no tigers walking in. But as I said before, the sympathetic tone is overridden in the majority of society. And we as conscious beings get to choose to breathe into and override that system. Go, there's no need to feel fear, even though you're in pain right now, as you block that system or you pump that note and all of a sudden you're feeling some emotions. It's okay that it doesn't make sense. Feel the emotion, express the emotion, go deeper into the system, open up that fascia, get those closets open and watch the lymph flow out and watch the emotions and the trash come out and watch the ocean be more clear and watch it be easier to think. Oh, if it was only pump 7 to 10 lymph nodes a couple times a day and that was it. That is for maintenance. That is for just living on planet Earth. And Kelly Kenny's been living this way for 28 years, yet the last 5 years, the terrain, the environment has changed. So I personally have had to increase my amount of lymph flow just because the environment, the tank I live in has changed. I haven't changed my personal way I live my life. I've lived organically for 28 years primarily. I have not used chemicals on my body for that long. I have lived in pure high quality water for that long, and actually probably longer. I probably only had chlorinated water for a total of maybe 8 to 10 years of my life combined. I'm a very lucky girl. I lived outside in nature a lot as I grew up. I didn't live in a lot of big cities. I wasn't exposed to a lot of that as some people have been. I've chosen all these things since I was 23 years old when this was all first opened up for me. And because I've continued to choose that, it takes a long time for me to feel off. A lot of pressure has to be on me in many different ways for me to feel off. And most of the time that comes from an emotional stance at this point. And I put myself under a lot of pressure emotionally because I'm looking to change the world. And in order for me to change the world, I have to change and be the best leader I can so that my crap isn't in the way for you to get this message. Because I'm here for you. I'm here for you to pick yourself up and realize that we're only here to give you enough information to help you feel safe enough to start to feel who you really are and express and know that you're enough to express it. And when you are, you're literally living in your lymphatic flow of life. And then you get to feel your feelings at the moment you feel them or choose not to because it won't make that person any better for their highest and better good to say it that way. So you're going to take a pause, you're going to process it, then you're going to come back to them and say it at a time and space that they are ready for. And so are you, because you're not as reactive. You can be in your heart, not in your mind. Your mind is what we need to override, not use, override it as the default program. The heart is the default program, and it magnifies that information through the lymph. But if the lymph is thick with toxicants, pathogens, stressors, and it's not just the 7 lymph nodes we're opening, and that's all we're doing, then that's not enough. We need to get deep in that lymphatic system. We need to dive deep in the ocean. And we need to figure out what's in our ocean and get it out. And if we need facilitation, then we're here for you. We have a 3-week mini cure. Maybe you're a do-it-yourself at your own pace person. Then take that program to heart and really live it. Go in there, watch those videos, feel the support from I and myself and Sarah. Do the actionable steps and apply that in your life and watch it all open up. And that's work in your lymphatic system. That's like our prerequisite program. If you need more of a community, join our forum. If you need more facilitation in person, come to Pennsylvania or Florida where I see clients and allow yourself to be held in the science and know what that feels like until you can hold yourself. Because lymphatics is about truly feeling my feelings, the ocean of my feelings, choosing when to express those feelings and always expressing them so I can create the space to be who I really am and shine from my heart all my special uniqueness of who I am. And nobody can live my life the way I can. And until I create the space and remove the filters of those who gave me programming and information of who I'm not, and make choices for myself of who I am, and remember who I am, then I am not living in the lymph flow. And when I choose to feel my feelings, express, and choose when to then express that to the other person, allow them to feel their feelings, and then hold them in our hearts together, then we're living in lymphatic flow. And then we're really free. And then we get to help others be free. Because we didn't do this choice of life to be alone. We chose this life to experience not only our own individual uniqueness, but how that interplays with everyone else's inner uniqueness. Because we already experienced the wholeness, the unknown before we were here. We wanted to be conscious of that unknown in physical form and connect that to all the other unknown. And that's what this game of life is about. And the best and easiest way to win that game of life and to know how you're doing is, one, I monitor on my heart rate variability, my bioresonance scans, my muscle response test. I am testing and assessing the heart, not the brain, because the heart knows more than the brain. And I know I'm doing it because I feel free no matter the condition I find myself in. And if I don't feel free, I have the tools to free myself so that I no longer feel as a victim or need to martyr myself. I can be me freely and speak my truth and know that I'm worthy of relaxing and recognize I'm good enough to be heard. I'm good enough to be seen. I'm good enough and pretty enough and ugly enough and tall enough and short enough and fat enough and skinny enough and all the things enough, just being me. Because I am. I am, so I be. The question is, does energy flow or does not flow? And if it doesn't flow, then the next question is why? And if I'm not flowing with me, my energy, because the difference of me living today and me not living is the energy, the oxygen flowing through this physical body, and evidenced by the water representation hologram labeled Kelly F. Kennedy, labeled you. And if that water isn't showing the reflection that I desire to show it, then join our community. Let us know how we can help you after you learn all the things that we have and tools. Start applying those tools and then send us, how did your life change once you started to apply this, so that your story can help others with their story so they can get through their story and create their own story. Because that's what's about. The lymph system is about erasing, like an Etch-a-Sketch, taking out what the crap was inside so I can draw my own creation. And I do that by having a pure water source to do it with. I love you all, truly, from my heart to yours. I am Kelly Kennedy, Kelly Flowen Kennedy. I'm here for you. We are here to hold you in the science of energy until you can hold yourself enough. And please remember always, when we move our lymph, this is not just physical. This is vitalistic. Feel it. Breathe it in. Exhale it out. And you will create the space that you need to get to the next step. From my heart to yours, flow forward, folks, with fun and fascinatingness. Mwah! Well, champions of the vibe flow community, energy flowing through that body, thank you for sharing this time with us and getting through the entire episode today. I know time is what we're spending here as our currency on this planet as people. And it really does mean a lot that as we devote our time and energy into creating this content, that you stuck with us throughout it. So if you would like more on this particular subject from this expert and get that free gift, make sure to register for our Energy Flow Forum. And you too, with a very nominal price, can access all sorts of upgraded content and deeper dives into the very subjects that you love: energy, fascia, lymphatics, oxygen, and water. As you know, as always, on this show and any content that we create, it is for your own health purposes. This is not intended to be advice or medical diagnoses or professional advice. It's purely information that if it resonates with you and you apply it and you upgrade, we love to hear about it. What a great coincidence, and we're happy to be on that journey with you. If this doesn't resonate with you and you know somebody it will, pass it along. And in the meantime, know that we truly are here to show you and explain to you and be with you through this lovely journey of life, and to share our experiences together and help each other upgrade, because that's how we're going to do this, together, collaborating with love at the center. I'm Kelly Kennedy, and I am so grateful from my heart to yours to share this time, energy, and space with you.